Call the meeting to order. 9 o'clock on Tuesday, February 11th, 2020, full county board meeting. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alt.
Here.
Bard.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Bowman. Bowers.
Here.
Tokenauer.
Here.
Crow. Curtis.
Here.
Doobie. Here. Hughes. Johnson. McGinnis.
Here.
McTaggart.
Here.
Awful. Here. Sure.
Here.
Sticknot.
Here.
Whitlow.
Here.
Young. Zumwalt.
Present.
16 present, 4 absent.
Hey, Mrs. Awful.
Today we have Pastor Joe Hughes with Emmanuel Christian Church here in Leipzig, and it started from there.
Let's pray together. Father, first I pray that you would forgive us of our sins so we can approach you just now as we speak to you about the concerns of our hearts and minds. We thank you for the blessings you have and for all the illness that we see, Father. We ask that you could watch over those that are struggling with this and help to return them to us. Just now I pray you'll be with these people that have come together, that the decisions that they make will be for the best for the people of this county. For we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a copy of the agenda in front of you. Is there a motion to approve that? Mr. Hughes, seconded by Mr. Whitlow. Are there any questions regarding the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is approved. You were sent a copy of the minutes from the January 14th recess session. We have a motion to approve those minutes. Mr. Sticknot, seconded by Mrs. Awful. Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Payroll. Is there a motion to approve the payroll? Mr. Zumwalt, is there a second? Mr. Curtis, are there any questions or comments regarding the payroll? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Motion carried 16-0.
Public comments. Are there any public comments this morning?
I got one. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bob Kramer. Last night, I spoke before the Gilman City Council about a matter that is of great concern to me, and that is what I am going to present to you today as well. That I think that everyone in this room should have concern, as well as every resident in this county. Illinois, for the first time in history, is going backwards in population and economic growth. In the last decade, Illinois has lost 1.41% of its population. This is the first time this has happened in recorded history since 1840. With the current increase in taxes, this downward trend is likely to continue and even get worse. While the rest of the country is advancing and surging forward, we are going backward. Iroquois County has lost 6.3% of its population in the last decade, a rate 4 times higher than the rest of the state. This is unacceptable.
And we need to start doing real things to encourage business and population growth in our communities. If we just keep going, doing the same things we have been doing, we will surely continue to go backward as even more people flee this state and area due to the increased taxes. We have got to start doing things to encourage people and businesses to stay here and attract people and businesses to move here. I am not sure who is behind putting up the playgrounds around Watseka area, but doing things like this is definitely a positive move. We need to provide public services and let the people know that we want them to stay here and give them the services that attract them to staying here. If we are going to have to quadruple our effort to attract people and retain people in Iroquois County just to keep pace with the state of Illinois' losses. If we want to surpass this and hopefully grow in population and business, we are going to have to do much more than quadrupling our efforts. There are many ways to grow a county, just as there are many ways to grow a business. A good businessman first utilizes the assets and products he has on hand and maximizes their return. Then he seeks out new and improved products with innovative marketing efforts to grow his business, all with spending the least amount of money in the most productive ways he can. This can be done right here in Iroquois County as a whole. There is tremendous room for growth. We just have to reach out and make it happen. And we do have the assets in our community that are unrealized and we are not using. And one thing, as we look around our country in a crisis that we are having, there is a crisis with homelessness. People all around this country without homes. We have property. We have land. The two things we have to provide them is homes, which we can, and then we have to provide them with work or a means of getting to work. We don't necessarily have to have the industry right here, right now, but we have to see that there is a way for these people to get to work. So there are many things we can do to improve our growth, but we are going to have to start and really, really focus on things that we can do to attract people, to attract businesses to move into our county. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comments this morning? Seeing none, we'll go to chairman comments. Hope I don't sound like a broken record, but I want to remind everyone again of the town hall meeting this coming Thursday evening and the great importance I think that it holds for the county in general. So I certainly hope that everybody will make an effort to attend that meeting and participate accordingly. Thank you. Outside organization reports. Did we have any of those this morning? Mr. Barber isn't here. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the committee reports. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred policy and procedure, beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on January 30, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Scher, Behrens, Alfolk, and Sticknall. Michael McTaggart was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, 911 Director Eric Raymond, EMA Director Eric Stacy, Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance, Jim Drury with Bliss McKnight, and Wendy Davis with the Time Bureau. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Sticknoth and seconded by all to approve the agenda. That motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. The committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Tax and Zoning Chairman Sticknoth reported the Tax and Zoning Committee will hear the standard department head reports. Highway Chairman Alt reported the Highway Committee will take action on the recent bid letting. Management and Judicial Chairman Barons reported the Management Committee will open and approve fertilizer bids along with their monthly reports. The Judicial Committee will hear their standard reports. Health Chairman Awful reported the Health Committee will hear the standard reports and the Health Department will have a presentation for the committee. EMA Director Eric Stacy reported over the past month he attended an LEPC meeting on January 14. Excuse me. They hosted an emergency management advisory meeting on January 23rd and attended a Mavis meeting on January 29th. Stacy has been working with the National Weather Service to set up the annual Weather Spotter Seminar for March 11th. Stacy said there have been requests from the public for active shooter training. He is looking into ways to offer this training. Lastly, Stacy continues to work on the hazard mitigation plan. County Board Chairman Scher gave an update on flood matters in Iroquois County. Scher attended a meeting on January 16 and also plans to attend a meeting on February 5. There is an upcoming town hall meeting on February 13 at Trinity Church in Watseka. Christopher Burke Engineering will be giving a presentation to the public. Scher strongly encourages those in Concord Township, Belmont Township, Middleport Township, and Iroquois Township to attend. Also, Scher said he communicated with Dave Fisher, the surveyor in Benton County, and he reported work would begin on Sugar Creek. Scher believes this work will affect Sugar Creek and Iroquois County. Senate Bill 75 pertaining to sexual harassment training was discussed. Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance introduced Tim Drury with Bliss McKnight to the committee. Drury told the committee he spoke with a representative from the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The law states the Illinois Department of Human Rights is creating a model training program that is expected to be available on their website by the end of February or early March. Drury also noted the training doesn't need to be completed until December 31, 2020. Drury also reviewed the county's alcohol and drug policy. He requested a copy of the entire personnel policy to review, stating other policies may be related to the alcohol and drug policy, such as drug testing. Finance Manager Jill Johnson will send Drury the personnel policy and all collective bargaining agreements. Appointments include Michelle Fairley, Dr. James Tungate, and Dr. Rodney Erdler to the Board of Health. Correspondence was distributed to the committee. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Alt and seconded by Awful to approve the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. That motion carried. There was no old business. During new business, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler suggested the county look into changing the language in the county farm lease, excuse me, in regards to payment of real estate taxes. Yergler said he believes whomever cash rents the ground should be responsible for the payment of the taxes. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Alt and seconded by Awful to adjourn at 9:41 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for its adoption. Is there a second? This is Awful. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mr. Bard?
Yes. Stacy said there have been requests from the public for active shooter training. Where are they going to be shooting?
People.
Okay. Debbie Slaughter?
No.
Okay.
There have been many incidents across the face of this country where people have been shot en masse by deranged individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a concern or a need apparently in Iroquois County for training and ways to combat that or reduce the effectiveness of somebody trying to do that.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. Any other questions or comments? If not, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Barron's.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis. Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
16-0.
Finance Committee, Mr. McTaggart.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred finance would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on February 6, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were McTaggart, Alt, Bowers, Curtis, Sticknot, and Johnson. Joe Young was absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Treasurer Kurt Albers, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, 911 Director Eric Raymond, Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance, and ICPHD Grants Processor Sandy Sticknot. The meeting was called to order and was moved by Bowers and seconded by Sticknot to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance provided no insurance updates for the month. The department heads gave their monthly reports. They are as follows. Treasurer Kurt Albers reported the revolving loan payments are being made in a timely manner. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported the audit process is going well and she expects to have the audit complete in a timely manner this year. Treasurer Kurt Albers discussed adding First Mid Bank and Trust to the designated list of depositories. Albers explained our county trustee deposits money into this bank, and when they sell property, and cut a check to the county. It was moved by Johnson and seconded by Alt to add First Mid Bank and Trust to the designated list of depositories for Iroquois County. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Finance Manager Jill Johnson gave the committee an update on the BB&T additional loan payment. Johnson said a phone call was made on Monday to Ed King with Government Capital to discuss the extra payment made towards the BB&T loan. The payment was made, but the check was returned to the county stating additional payments were not allowed due to the terms of the agreement. Johnson explained BB&T is in the middle of a merger and requested the county contact them within the next 90 to 120 days regarding the additional payment and possible changes to the agreement. Changes cannot be made. There's a buyout option in 2026. Until this occurs, it was discussed that the county open an account to deposit the additional funds. It was moved by Johnson and seconded by Bowers to allow Treasurer Kurt Albers to open a new deposit account for the extra payments related to the BB&T loan. Roll call vote was taken and the motion carried. Committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Alt and seconded by Johnson to pay the claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Alt and seconded by Johnson to adjourn at 9:11 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, signed by all members present. And I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Finance Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Bowers. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Barron's.
Yes.
16-0.
Management Services, Mr. Behrens.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred management services beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on February 3rd, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barron, Alt, Bowers, Zumwalt, and Johnson. Paul Newfound, Kevin Bowman were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Shure, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Supervisor Chris Drake, 911 Director Eric Raymond, EMA Director Eric Stacy, and Norman Wagner with United Prairie. The meeting was called to order, moved by John Zumwalt, second by Charlie Alt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Management Chairman Barron's open for live bids as follows. United Prairie, $17,414.80. For low rate, $28,394. For high rate, bidder noted they would not recommend this option. Tri Central Co-op, $32,159 for high rate. Donovan Farmers, $29,339 for high rate. Discussion was held on bids. Sherry Johnson suggested reviewing the farm contract to ensure all information is included in the bid packet going forward. It's moved by Johnson and second by Zumwalt to accept United Prairie's low rate bid for fertilizer at a cost of $17,414.88. Roll call vote was taken. Alt aye, Bowers aye, Zumwalt aye, Johnson aye, Barron's abstained, motion carried. Barron's told the committee that Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler suggested possibility of the farm tenant being responsible for paying taxes on the farm ground. Property taxes are estimated $8,000 each year. No action was taken at this time. Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake reported included the following. The refrigerator in the break room in the administrative center is going bad. Drake is replacing it with a refrigerator in the courthouse basement. Metro Power performed an inspection on generators. Snow removal occurred on January 23rd and 26th. Otis Elevator was contacted for maintenance on the dumbwaiter. There were no updates on USDA improvements. Johnson suggested having someone do a walkthrough of the building with Drake and make an informed recommendation on improvements that are needed. Johnson said she knows of a developer that did this for the Park District and see if they will be available within the next meeting. Barron's informed the committee Head Start has reached out and requested to keep their monthly rent at the current rate of $1,507.52 per month until the end of August due to their conflicting budget year. The new contract will begin September 1, 2020, and the new rate will go into effect. It's moved by Johnson, second by Bowers, to allow Head Start to continue paying their old rate through September 1, 2020. Their new rental rate will go into effect September 1, 2020. Roll call vote was taken. Alt, nay, Bowers, aye, Zumwalt, aye, Johnson, aye, Barron's, aye, motion carried. There were no updates on the City of Watseka flooding project. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Johnson, second by Alt to pay the claims. Subject to County Board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. During old business, County Board Chairman John Shure announced the grant funding has been received for replacement of the chiller at the courthouse. Shure praised Executive Assistant Amanda Longfellow for her assistance in the grant process. Also during old business, Shure said the phone conference was held with Ed King from Government Capital in regards to the Smart Watt loan. An additional payment was made towards the loan, but the check was returned stating additional payments are not allowed. Shure said the matter will be revisited in 90 to 120 days. During new business, Shure reported Drake will be meeting with Ori Cummings with SmartWatt to perform an audit and monitor the savings we should be achieving. Barron's provided an update on the parking lot at the courthouse stating no repairs are budgeted until 2021. Shure reminded the committee of a town hall meeting being held on February 13th at Trinity Church in Watseka at 6 p.m. Christopher Burke Engineering will be giving a presentation regarding flood-related matters. Lastly, EMA Director Eric Stacy informed the committee he plans to install radios in the Emergency Operations Center at the courthouse, and also the antennas on the roof of the courthouse per Sheriff Derek Hagan's approval. Johnson questioned Stacy starting new project without having a hazard mitigation plan completed first. Stacy stated the completion date is projected for the end of February. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Zumwalt, second by Bowers to adjourn at 9:34 a.m. Motion carried. Call vote, please. respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the management committee report. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Hall.
May I make a motion?
Mr. Hall?
I recommend that I make a motion that we take out the first paragraph on the second page and address it separately from the rest of the report at this time.
That's a report, that's a paragraph regarding the rent for Head Start. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Here it is.
Mr. Hughes. Okay.
I feel we should drop out that paragraph because their excuse is wasn't part of their budget. It looks to me like they had a whole year to put it in their budget. We should have a yearly budget, which never addressed the increase of the rent that we provided for them back in September.
What is the difference in the rent? How much are we losing?
$1,500?
$1,500?
No. 2016,
$6,000?
something like that. It's, yeah, $6,000,
Jill.
18,000 versus 24,000.
Do you know exactly, Jill?
Yeah, it's about $6,000. We talked about it a little bit this morning.
They should have been paying that up till now.
Okay, so according to the motion that was made, you were losing giving them $6,000 off of the rent. We're losing that money. That's what you're saying. Is that correct?
That's right, because they never went to address the increase we had for last September.
Okay. So the motion is to separate that out. Is there any other questions or comments about the motion? If not, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Kokenauer.
No.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
No.
Hughes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Johnson.
No.
McGinnis.
No.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
No.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried 11-5.
Okay, just to make sure that everybody understands the essence of the matter. According to the way the motion was made by the management committee, we're gonna lose over $6,000. I don't feel that's correct. That's my opinion of it. That's what Mr. Alt is questioning. I'm not sure if everybody fully understands the implication of that, but I think that's something that we have two options. We can either do that. We can either go along with their request, or we can have them, excuse me, pay the rent. I suppose an option to that would be to ask if we allow them to pay the rent at their previous rate, to add the difference onto the rent for next year. But that's not part of the motion here, and that needs to be clearly spelled out. And in fact, if that's the direction we want to go, we'll have to add or prepare some kind of paperwork that will add on to their lease stating that.
Send it back to the committee to deal with that.
I don't think it was stated. I think because I was kind of under the impression that you were going to add that on so that it was made up, so. I think
It's not part of the motion.
I think that was the intent, but
I
it
think
wasn't
too.
stated properly.
Right, so I think we should just send it back.
Okay, somebody care to make that motion? Mr. McTaggart moves to send it back to the committee. Mr. Johnson seconds. Are there any other questions or comments regarding the matter? Seeing none, would you call the roll, please?
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
16-0.
Okay, now as regards the remainder of the report, are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the property taxes for the farm ground, will that be decided when the contract is approved next year?
That'll be decided when the bids are sent out.
When the bids are sent out?
Yes, before they go out, that has to be decided.
Yeah. So that's meeting right now, and will that be decided?
It was brought up by Mr. Yergler and brought up in such a way that we've got several months to think about it and consider what we might wish to do. Some people have different opinions, I'm sure, some one way and some another way. So,
What's his feeling that it?
Mr. Yergler thinks that the person leasing the farm ground should be the one paying the tax.
Now, how many acres is that?
Almost 400. The taxes come in the neighborhood of $8,000 a year. Mr. Kokenauer.
Does that other counties do?
No, what he brought up was that's what the federal government does.
Okay.
But in the little bit of discussion we had, you know, it's gonna be a wash, because if you have them pay it, they're just gonna lower their bids. So it might just complicate the issue by having them pay
That's
it.
gonna be my next question, they're just gonna.
Yeah.
It's something we don't want to debate or come to a final decision right now. I think it's something to think about, and then,
I agree, except that do other counties, does anybody else do that?
well, not every county has farmland that they rent out.
The ones that do.
We'd have to do some research
Okay.
to answer your
I get it
question.
now.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Abstain.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yeah.
15. And one
Okay,
abstain.
tax, planning and zoning, Mr. Sticknot.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred tax/zoning would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on February 4th, 2020, at 9:47 a.m. Members present were Sticknot, Curtis, Awful, Bard, Kokenauer, Doobie, and Whitlow. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scherer, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Treasurer Kurt Albers, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, and ICPHD Director Dee Shipper. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Kokenauer and seconded by Bard to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Awful to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Lisa Fancher reported she met with the county's new tax trustee, Agent Joseph Meyer and Associates, to discuss the recent transition. Early voting starts Thursday. Fancher also updated the committee on the handicap accessibility survey that was completed for all polling places. Fancher says she is able to ask for a 2-year extension on some of the polling places. There are some locations where the necessary repairs can be made, and some of the township supervisors have offered to make those repairs. There was also enough money left in the budget last year to purchase items for the repairs. Treasurer Kurt Albers reported DevNet provided them with a preliminary website to allow taxpayers and other organizations to look at tax bills online. There are minor changes to be made, but Albers expects the website to go live within the next 30 days. Also, the treasurer's office is changing credit companies. Albers explained the new company is much more efficient than the current credit card company. There was no old business. During new business, County Board Chairman John Schur informed the committee of the town hall meeting being held on February 13th at 6 p.m. Christopher Burke Engineering will be giving a presentation and holding a question and answer session immediately following. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Kokenauer and seconded by Barnes to adjourn the meeting at 10:09 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is very respectfully submitted and signed by those present, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the tax zoning committee report. Is there a second? Mrs. Awful. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barb.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
16-0.
Okay, Health Committee, Mrs. Awful.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred health would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administration Center on February 4th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Awful, Whitlow, Curtis, Bard, Kokenauer, and Doobie. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf, ICPHD Administrator Dee Shipper, and ICPHD Director of Senior Services Emily Shea. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Kevin Kokenauer and seconded by Jed Whitlow to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Kokenauer to pay the claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf gave his report for January, which included 6 dogs and 2 cats picked up and brought to the clinic. ICPHD Administrator Dee Shepard reported no changes to the grants and contracts list. Shepard said the health department will be hosting a program called Hidden in Plain Sight at all schools in the area to help educate parents on possible drug and alcohol abuse in children. The first event will be held on April 6th at 5:30 p.m. at Watsika Community High School. Shepard distributed the monthly summary report of programs to the committee. Shepard explained the food sanitation inspections were low in December compared to other months because re-inspections are typically performed during that month. Regular inspections occur throughout the rest of the year. Shepard also informed the committee the number of communicable diseases is higher. However, 5 of the individuals are not Iroquois County residents. ICPHD Director of Senior Services, Emily Shea, spoke to the committee about the community care program the health department offers. Shea noted their goal is to keep elderly seniors in the community as long as possible and keep them out of nursing homes. The program provides services such as in-home services, which includes cooking and cleaning. The program also provides emergency home response, automated medication dispensers, and adult day service. There are age and financial eligibility requirements to qualify for the services. Shea said if the individual exceeds the financial requirements, the health department offers a list of private pay homemakers. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Leanne Doobie and seconded by Whitlow to adjourn at 9:43, and I move for its adoption.
So, motion on the floor to approve the Health Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Hall. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Johnson. McGinnis. McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Hughes. 16-0.
Okay, Judicial and Public Safety, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom we refer to judicial and public safety would beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on February 5, 2020 at 3 p.m. Members present were Barron, Sarge, Hughes, Whitlow, Paul Duca, Donna Crow, and Chad McGinnis were absent. Also present Sheriff Derek Hagan, Coroner Bill Cheatham, Probation Supervisor Barb King, Judge James Kinzer, State's Attorney Jim Devine, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, 911 Director Eric Raymond, and County Board Chairman John Scher. The meeting was called to order. It is moved by Roger Barton, second by Steve Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Sheriff Derek Hagan's monthly report for January included. Patrol had 624 calls for service for the month of January. January had 2019, 745 calls for service, 19% decrease. Booked in 54 prisoners for the month of January. January 2019, 38 prisoners booked in, 42% increase. Average daily population in January was 34. Average daily population in 25, 36% increase. Overtime in the jail for January was 244 hours on the schedule. Part-time hours, 198 for January. Hired 2 new correctional officers in January, hired 2 new deputies in December. Both were prior correctional officers. Have 1 correctional officer in a 5-week academy. Graduation is February 14th. Both deputies are in a 14-week academy. Graduation is April 17th. Ordered 3 new squads, should have them by April. Hagan submitted 4 additional claims for approval. The claims included reimbursement for a winter conference, radios, and other equipment for new squad cars, reimbursement for 2 of his staff to recover evidence in Colorado for a recent homicide, and training for 2 new deputies attending a 14-week academy. Hagan noted, with the hiring of 2 new deputies, there will only be 3 hours of the day where there's 1 deputy covering the area. Coroner Bill Cheatham reported he has 2 deputies to cover for him when he is off, and they also work 1 weekend each month. Temporary change being made due to one of the deputies accepting a promotion. Cheatham said he spoke with County Board Chairman John Scher and Manager Jill Johnson about selecting someone from the deputies, less than paying them automation funds once a month until this other deputy knows what the schedule will be. Probation Supervisor Barb King reviewed the probation court services activity report for January with the committee. Judge James Kinzer reported his retirement date is August 2nd. Judge Mike Sable will be named the next circuit judge. The circuit judges in Kankakee County and Iroquois County will have to appoint a new associate judge for Iroquois County. State's Attorney Jim Devine requested approval for a resolution for the State's Attorney's appellate prosecutor. The annual charge this year is $9,000. It was moved by Jed Whitlow, second by Hughes, to approve the State's Attorney appellate prosecutor's resolution. Motion carried by a voice vote. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report to the committee for their review. A total of $47,906.90 was received in fines and fees. $5,275.45 was received from credit collection partners. $1,225.71 was received from IDROP. Eric Raymond distributed the ETSB report for January. Raymond reported the ETS board approved a GIS system costing $85,000 and a reporting system costing $20,000. There was no old business, there was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It is moved by Whitlow, second by Bart, to pay the judicial and public safety subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Hughes, second by Bart, to adjourn the meeting at 3:29 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote. All votes respectfully submitted. I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the judicial and public safety report. Is there a second? Mr. Hughes, second. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report?
I think Judge Kinzer did not say that Judge Sable would be appointed
They said since he is running for that position and he is unopposed in doing so, that normally the Supreme Court would do that, but it's not definite.
So it's his opinion that will
It's his
happen.
opinion, yeah.
That's correct. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Powers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis. Doobie. Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson. 16-0.
Transportation Highway, Mr. Alt, there's two reports, one from the January 29 meeting and one from the February 7th meeting.
And I think there's only one that the court handed out. I got both of them here on mine. Is there? Okay. One of them on one side of the page and one on the other. Oh, maybe that's where I missed. We start with the 29th, that's the first one in the sequence. Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom has referred transportation and highway will take leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Iroquois County Highway Building on January 29th at 9 a.m. Members present were all Young, Johnson, Guinness, Zumwalt, Crowe, Steve Hughes, County Engineer Joel Moore. Meeting was called to order. There was no public comment. It was moved by Sherry Johnson, and second by John Zumwalt to approve the agenda. Motion carried. County Engineer Joel Moore read the bids as follows. House Road 19-19108-00-BR, countywide PCL, countywide stockpile chips, countywide stockpile CM/6/10, countywide pipe culverts, county FOB oil. Both are for the following furnishings and application of calcium chloride for red. No action was needed. It is moved by Chad McGinnis and seconded by Joe Young to table action until the regular Transportation Highway Committee meeting on February 7th, 2020, subject to bid tab review. Motion carried unanimously. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Hughes to adjourn meeting at 10:12 a.m. Motion carried. All business directly submitted. Go ahead with the second report. Yep. Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred transportation highway will beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Iroquois County Highway Building on September 7th, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Alt, Hughes, Zumwalt, Johnson. Joe Young, Don Crowe, and Chad McGinnis were absent. Also present, County Engineer Joel Moore and County Board Chairman John Scher. The meeting was called to order. There was no public comments. It was moved by John Zumwalt and seconded by Steve Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a vote. Employees, full claims and financial reports for the month was received as moved by Hughes and seconded by Johnson to pay the bills up to county board approval. Roll call vote. Let's take County Highway, $48,556.04. County Bridge, $3,446. County Matching, $3,480. TBP 0. County Matching Funds, $22,407. Township MFT 0. County Engineer discussed bid letting. It was held January 29th. It was moved by Johnson and seconded by Hughes to accept the result from January 29th, 2020 letting. Your roll call was taken, motion carried. During new business, John Johnson informed her that she was contacted to assist with a bike event on July 5th. Part of the route goes through Woodland and over the bridge. Johnson questioned whether or not the bridge in Woodland would be open at the time to pedestrians or bikes. More said, once the bridge is closed, it will be completely closed to all traffic. There was no old business, as there was no further business to come for the committee. It was moved by Summerall and seconded by Hughes to adjourn at 9:18 a.m. Motion carried by votes for. Both of these reports are respectfully submitted, and I move for their acceptance.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve the January 29 and February 7th highway reports. Is there a second? Mr. Whitlow, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Stibnite.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Dooley. Hughes. Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
16-0.
Okay, claims. We all have a sheet of the sheets of the claims in front of you. Is there a motion to approve those? This is awful. Is there a second? Mr. Zumwalt. Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Dooley.
Yes.
Hughes. Johnson. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
16-0.
Okay, appointments. On the agenda sheets in front of you is a list of the appointments for this month. Is there a motion to approve them? This is awful. Is there a second? Mr. Bowers. Are there any questions or comments regarding the appointments? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Is there any old business to come before the board this morning?
Mr. Chairman, I was wanting to know if there's been a resolution between the county and the city of Gilman over the 911 contract.
Not as yet, it's an ongoing discussion. There's maybe some progress being made, but it's not been resolved yet.
Thank you.
Is there any other old business to come before the board? Is there any new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second. So moved.
Mr. Kokenauer, who seconded? Mr. McTaggart. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, we are adjourned.
Pretty sure they had all that.